9. This is in my top 10. In fact, I'm pretty sure it was my number 1. I absolutely love this game. This is
kind of a spoiler, for the ending.
Well, for my point of view, you don't know what theirs is. So it is so there is pipe laying. There is definitely worker placement. There is definitely buying and selling economics kind of in this game. So there's a lot of different mechanisms that are going on. And so that basically you run an oil company and you're trying to buy crude oil, make it refine it to higher quality of oil, sell it for a profit. And that's the game. That's a good summary.
Is that what we're supposed to do? Because I felt like
I
was
did
not trying
do
to.
that.
I think I was manufacturing baby oil in this game. I was not making crude oil.
I was making mayonnaise.
Yeah.
So that's why I didn't make any money at all.
So who made this game?
All right, so Pipeline was originally brought out in 2019. It's got a BGG rating of 7.8, so it's a decent score. Designed by Ryan Courtney. Art by Ian O'Toole, which is one of the best artists out there. Ian's awesome. Published by Capstone Games, and the MSRP is $64.99. So it's not the cheapest game, but you get a lot of stuff in the game.
Yeah.
Yeah. And as far as the weight of this, I can give it a medium to heavy. It's not super heavy, but it is. Any of these economics games are pretty advanced, and it's got a lot going on in it. So
it's definitely not an intro game.
Yeah, you would not want to jump straight into this.
Yeah. So let's dive into quality of pieces. So
I just said don't jump straight in. You're going to dive into it.
Yes, I am.
Yeah.
All right.
So let's do a comparison, because just to be honest, we do have some 3D printed components to this.
We do.
So
the base game comes with cubes, I believe.
Yeah,
it was
wooden
that represent
cubes of
barrels. And they don't look like barrels at all. And I guess if you
like these, except the other color.
If you squeezed oil into a cube or froze it, maybe if you freeze it like in your
and then
your freezer,
like an ice cube trace.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah. That seems like a very bad way to distribute oil.
I don't think oil freezes though.
Well, anything freezes if you get it cold enough.
All right. So we did So one of the first things that I did as soon as I played the game, fell in love with it. And actually, it was your idea.
I was going to say,
it was
whose
Robert's
idea was it?
idea to create the actual barrels, 3D printed barrels for this game.
And it kind of blew our mind, because we didn't know how cool and how good it really would work out. And it was one of the coolest things we did.
Well, it was one of the first things that 3D printed.
Mm-hmm. Everyone has actual oil in them, too.
Yeah, every one of them.
Maybe. It's plastic. But take that away. So let's take the 3D printed off the table and let's just stick with the cubes.
And also the coins are our traditional replacement for money.
Right.
The money in this is cardboard. It's not real exciting, and I mean it's functional, but it's tiny and
it's different though. You don't see money like that before, so I thought that was kind of it's okay.
It's okay, but I would never use it, so we replace it with the coin.
Wow. Ouch. Okay. Let's give this a rating, guy. Well, let's talk about it. There are a few cards in this for upgrades.
Yeah, the cards have a texture to them. They're pretty decent. Oh, this one's bent already. But you're not going to shuffle them. These are actually put out in order, these cards. There's cards that are the in-game bonus cards. These are also textured, which is nice. Again, we haven't sleeved these because you don't really shuffle them much. You shuffle them once at the beginning of the game and distribute 3 out, along with one that's a cardboard one that you always use.
And then other than the cardboard, the wooden bits for your barrels and your loans, everything else is cardboard.
Yeah.
So decent sized cardboard stock, both with like contracts and orders and your player boards. Everything is a pretty decent cardboard stock.
Yeah. This one's already curling though. So let's give it a score, guys. Since we talked about all pieces.
I think I would give it a 7. So decent cardboard. I love the arts.
And there are a lot of pieces.
But there's a lot of bits.
There is a lot of pieces, especially for the price point of $65 to have this many bits. I feel like that's fair.
What? 7? Mm-hmm. Okay. I'm easy today. I'll go with 7. I won't
You're
argue.
definitely
Yeah.
easy.
Now, once you add the upgraded components to
It becomes a 10.
7.1.
don't make me hurt you. All right, so let's move on to theme. We kind of already hit the theme. Basically, you're running an oil company, and your goal is to refine as much oil as you can to make as much profit as
Or
you can.
a baby oil or mayonnaise
Or
company,
mayonnaise,
depending on your preference on how badly you want to play the game.
Right?
I was making crude oil. I was refining mine. So the theme fits. There's.
I agree. Mechanically, the theme it works very well for this game.
It's spot on.
So it really is. And
Yeah, you've got your pipes obviously to go with the different kinds of oils, and that makes a lot of sense. As well as you have machines to auto refine your pipes at the end of the turn,
and tanks to hold them.
All of these things make sense. You have contracts, you have different orders that are out there. The theme is spot on for this game.
Now, do the different color pipes represent different kinds of oil? Because what other kinds of oil are there?
Well, you got synthetic oil. You got
It all
ethanol.
comes from the same.
got
No,
baby
there's
oil.
ethanol.
You got
There's
baby
corn
oil.
All right, but do
You
they
got baby
do they
oil.
actually represent anything, or is it just
You got hydraulic. I think it all comes from crude though.
Yeah.
And so
yeah, I think it's just
it's how
whatever color pipe you want to run them through to make it look pretty on your board is really what it represents. Because
Right.
I don't think there's any difference in the oil going through.
I just imagine
the color of the oil just affects gameplay. It's got
Yeah.
nothing to do with thematics. So
I beg to differ. I think ethanol, normal oil.
ethanol is not oil. Ethanol is fuel processed from oil.
Well, then you're adding.
If you know so
ethanol
much
to-
about oil
And
processing,
corn.
why did you come in like last?
I think you're adding ethanol to the oil, and that's why you're refining it.
No, ethanol comes out of it when you're done processing, and it's used corn as well. So
okay. Anyway, regardless, we don't know what the colors mean. It's fine.
Robert's more of an expert on methane anyway.
that's true. So natural
guys
gas,
are
all natural
All right,
gas right here.
let's get back- let's
All right.
Give it a score for theme.
Oh, I'd give it a 9.
Yeah, I think a 9. This is spot on and perfect.
It's just one of those games where the theme and the mechanics integrate really well, and it flows.
So you gave it a 9. What would have made it a 10 for you?
Me winning more, so I think that would help out a lot. Oh yeah, for sure.
Okay.
So-
Well, then I'm going to give it a 10 because I win a lot.
Well, I'm going to go that more like an 8. I don't
Okay.
understand. When we looked at Mysterium, for example, you guys gave it thematically.
Yeah.
No, it was 10. You all gave it
Yeah.
thematically a 10. You gave it more of a 9 on gameplay, I guess. But that one to me is leaps and bounds above this as far as theme. I don't see. I mean, as far as the integration, yes, it's an engine of your building things and selling them. The pipe is the only thing that really makes it feel like it's an oil, because
And the oil barrels.
only because you printed them.
Yeah, but it does help.
It does help.
We're talking about the base game here, not what you said. Added. What I'm saying is the only thing that really makes it feel like oil is the product you're selling is the pipes. That's it. I mean,
No, because you've got tanks. You've got machines. What are you talking about?
You need widgets to sell and store things.
Honestly, part of my 9 is the amount of fun that I have playing the game too.
Well,
so that goes.
Yeah,
with
and
it.
I'm just
And
weighing
so-
the theme, and from an art perspective, yes, like the top of the board, I like the art here. It's kind of pretty, but apart from that, it's just iconography basically. It's not. There's not a lot of.
But this
art.
is more on the heavy side of games. You get a lot of that, and I'm okay with that in this particular
Oh no,
instance.
I understand that.
And
I'm just saying from just purely on a theme basis, I would not weight this a 9. I'm giving it an 8.
Okay. Well, it averages out because I gave it a 10. All right. Moving on to rules. We caught one typo today.
Yeah.
We hadn't caught it before.
Well, apparently it's a 5-player game now, so because of the typo. So yeah, I mean it's the rulebook's pretty good. I mean it's pretty cover. It matches the art that I think is the pretty part of the game book or the board. It's got all the pictures of all the pieces as most games would do. board layout, and it's got a nice setup area. It's pretty easy to read. This is where the typo was we found. It's got a setup for 2 to 3 players and a setup for 5 players, but it's only a 4-player game. So I'm not sure where the 5th player is going to come in, but
why don't you summon them?
huh?
The 5th player, summon the 5th player, like we do so many other things.
Well, I would have to actually have a 5th player image to summon, and at this point,
So your powers suck then.
yeah,
Your summoning powers.
Well,
All right. So
All right. So I mean, it's laid out pretty decently, and it's got
I think it's got good explanations.
good explanations of everything. There's a lot to this, so
There
you're
is.
going to reference this a lot, unfortunately,
initially,
because
especially.
even when we play, I mean, even now we're still looking things up in the
You
book.
are. I'm good.
Yeah. All right.
I think you told him to look up something. Or
Yeah,
whatever.
pretty sure there was some referencing from you too. The appendices on the back are pretty decent. They're for
Because
the
I wanted
cards.
the rules to change from what I thought they were.
And you got the
Like a
appendices. Do y'all care about the rules at all?
Keep going.
Okay. The appendices for the valuation cards are on here as well, and the scoring, which is pretty nice. So I mean, all in all, there's not anything really wrong with this other than a few typos and something that could have been they probably could have done errata. It's just that
Well, and even though there's a lot to it, I don't think like how we've talked about in other games where cheat sheets would help out a lot. I don't think a cheat sheet would have really helped in this game.
Well,
No,
a
there's
lot of
enough
the things you
iconography.
need are actually on the board, which is
Right.
nice. Like the setup here, 2 per player. You've got that set. The only thing I'd say is that maybe on the setup, like we always have to look up every time how many contracts are removed, which is the piece we were talking about
Right.
earlier. And just some of that, I think on the setup piece, it might have pulled that out because you have to look it up every time. It's not a bad rule book at all.
Right.
I'm probably going to give this a 9. It's pretty good.
Mm-mm.
I believe him.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot of fault with it other than a few typos, like I said.
I agree because I think I was the first one to get the game, and then we learned it together, either from Gen Con or Origins. I can't remember where we got it at originally, but I picked it up first. You guys loved it. You picked it up, and then we upgraded
I
it.
remember the first time I played it, and I was like, I don't get it. I can't figure it out. And I think I figured it out now.
Figured it out today.
Yeah, it's a bit abstract as far as
Mhm.
the concepts and trying to get it down as far as what is the strategy in this, because you can do a lot of different things with only a few choices that you have, and it's just the fact that you're going to run out of money very quickly.
Right.
Oh,
Tight. Money is so tight.
I'll just say right now, you might as well accept that you're going to get 1 penalty, okay? Accept the fact that you're going to borrow $15 and going to have to pay $20.
Yeah, I've played it before or not, but in general, yes, you're probably going to end up with some loans.
At least,
Um,
I think 1.
Are we moving into gameplay officially now since we did the rules?
Yeah,
Okay, cool.
we already did that.
All right. So basically, the game consists of 4 different action spaces that you can take on the board, and then a few auxiliary spaces you can take. So the action spaces are randomly distributed on the board each time you play.
But it's the same action.
It's the same 4 actions.
placed
It's just
separate.
placed differently,
Yeah.
and those combine with a secondary action, which is the different markets you can take, whether it's crude market or the 3 refined markets.
You know,
But those are always the same location.
Yeah.
I will say that I did not know that until this gameplay, because for some reason the upgrade was always at Refinery Market 3 for the longest time. And I think the only thing that really switched was the machine and the tank. That's why I never noticed.
And they're 2-sided, which is nice, so you can put it
Yeah,
oriented
towards
all
it,
the
yeah.
same way.
Oh, that's a little neat, cool little detail.
And then apart from that, those different actions, which those actions are contracts and loans, which lets you take contracts that you're going to fulfill.
And loans.
If you don't fulfill them, you're going to get penalties. And loans, obviously, which
I got
you
2
can
of
take
those.
for $15, but then you're going to have to pay back a minimum of $20, but it increments depending on how many loans you have, and you cannot get rid of them until the end of the game. We have the machine and pipes, which is one of the ways to get pipes, which is the main engine you're building is a bunch of pipes that connect, and there's 3 colors: blue, orange, and silver.
That's teal.
Okay. Teal, orange, and silver. the tanks and pipes also let you get pipes, but it also lets you get storage tanks, which you'll need because in order to produce the oil barrels and move them up and refine them, you have to have enough storage tanks to hold them to move them up. So you've got basically a secondary pipeline, if you will, of tanks that you can move up at the same time. And then the third one are upgrades, these are kind of bonus cards that you can get that give you special abilities throughout the game.
Or immediate return.
Oh yeah, it's a gratification in some of them. The thing is there's five out of 7 that you play with. There's 7 sets in the game, and there's 3 tiers to each one. So if you have to pay $20 and you can take the first tier of any one, and then from there you have to have the first tier in order to get the second tier. But if you select that tier, that type, nobody else can choose that type for the rest of that year, and you only play 3 years in this game. And there's various rounds for each year. So you've really only got one shot to get up to level 3. You have to take the same action of getting the same upgrade 3 times.
But I will say the third level is typically very, very
Absolutely.
powerful.
I was about to say that. I mean, they're all very different, but all of them have some significant power.
So if you can manage it, fantastic. In fact, okay, only one of us was able to do it this game, but in other games we've had 2.
I got up to the
so 2 of us have.
I just put my cards back.
Oh, okay. So there was 2 of us that did. I mean, it's really
not that it did me any good. It did not help my mayonnaise making at all. So,
so now that we've kind of covered the basis of
the other action you can take we didn't talk about is the government tiles, which this is another way to get pipes, and this is the way to get it probably the cheapest, is you can place your worker on there, and you can choose any of the pipes that are adjacent to the one you claim on, place your person on. So but the more tiles you take, the more it's going to cost you, from anywhere from 1 for 5 or 5 for 55, and that's the range. You can get up to 5. And those pipes then you build into a tableau, which I will summon that because that's important. So
summon mine. Mine's cooler.
Whatever.
And
one of the key elements of the game is, as Randy was saying, you're putting the pipes together, but you're trying to do it with certain lengths, because the longer the pipe is, the finer grade of oil you can make. And it's all represented randomly in this top hand corner. You randomly deal out numbers ranging from 4 to 7. And so each time you run your pipes or use your machine to upgrade your pipes, you add up the length. And if you can do it in one single turn of, like, for example, on here it says orange is 4, you only get to upgrade at 1 level. But if you can do it in 10, a 4 and a 6, then you can upgrade it 2 levels. And then if you
only the first 2 levels.
Right, the first 2 levels. Or, I mean, if you upgrade at 1 and then you do 10, you could upgrade.
Not necessarily, because this one costs 12.
But the idea is that you still add these up, and if you meet that number or greater, then you can upgrade.
Yeah, and it's based on the steps. So just pay attention, just because it's like this one you start at crude, but there are 3 different levels of refinement. So it is based on what stage you're at and going to what stage you're going to. So just pay attention to that, because oftentimes that can get you in trouble, and that got me in trouble more than once, because I would have 5, but I needed 6 for the level 2, so I couldn't use that right away. So just constantly keeping in mind what step you're at and how many you need.
And the higher grade of the oil gives you the ability to complete better contracts, allows you to sell in the refined markets at higher value. End of the game, the person who has the most money wins the game. So that's the goal, is trying to upgrade your oil as quickly as possible, as efficiently as possible to meet. I mean, you guys did really well at the contracts, and I think that's one of the areas where I just completely fell flat in, because I didn't get anything. But you were able to get a lot of money fairly quickly, multiple times.
Yeah, so the thing about the contracts is that as soon as you get the requirement, you can immediately sell it and get money instantaneously and not use an action. All the other things require you to use, the orders don't, but you have to have so much stuff for the orders that it's just
no one even fulfilled one this game.
Yeah, it's just not, even though you get more for it if you complete an order, and you get more if you sell it, you just have to take an action to do it. And actions are so limited in this game that the whole point of this game is to try to eliminate as many actions as you can.
Actually,
and do
orders do
automated.
not require any
Yeah,
action.
or you can.
Well,
just
I mean,
play.
no, but you have to get so many, and that's
Yeah.
you have to have the tanks to house that.
Yeah, you have to
So
complete
that's
the
where it
entire
gets-
thing
Yeah.
to be able to
Yeah,
do it.
so it gets a little tricky there. So absolutely.
That's a lot of strategy.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's a little bit of luck in how the pipes come out and things like that. And I think that maybe I wasn't able to pull a great set of pipes to be able to make a good network initially early.
Mm-hmm.
But it's more strategy than luck. There's a little bit. Not a lot.
I mean,
Yeah, I will say something about this. There is no catch-up mechanism in this
There
game.
really isn't.
No.
And so,
Pretty much by the end of the second year, I was dead in the water. There was no way I could.
I
get
pretty
back.
much knew by like the 4th or 5th round of year 1 that
Mhm.
I was lost. Miranda was winning. I mean, I started out strong, but the problem is I couldn't produce anything.
Right.
I had pipes. I had lots of pipes, but I had no product. And that's the thing is you want to buy your product low and sell high. It's an
Right.
economics game, so you're trying to buy it as low as possible. By the time I could actually buy product, it was already jacked up in price.
no, but I mean, come on, you're talking like $2 or $3 with that. That doesn't matter. As
It's a
long as you're doing
huge
your job.
difference when you're
Well,
early
especially
game and you're
right,
broke.
and
Yeah,
the money is so tight. I mean, $2 or $3 makes a huge difference.
Yeah.
You were complaining about not having $1 to be able to do
I
what you
know,
wanted
there
to
was
do that
one- I
one
was
turn.
gonna say $1.
So I mean, it makes a big difference.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I'm not saying it doesn't. I'm just saying that I don't think that was the main reason. The biggest thing is you have to get your machines up and running as quickly as possible, and you have to make sure you have the $15 to run them, and you got to make sure it's cost efficient. Like, you don't want to run a machine just for one oil. You have to make sure you have at least 2 or 3 oils that you can send through your machines, and that makes the $15 worth it. And so if you can get that in place as quickly as possible, you do fairly well. And I did get kind of lucky with my upgrades because I focused on the shops and the pipes. And so that really helped me
Right.
establish that as quickly as I could, even though it did cost me at the very beginning of not, it played out, but it cost me a lot at the beginning, where I ended up with 3 penalties in that first year. And then after that, I wasn't even close to needing one after that. So, all right, guys, let's rate it.
Overall gameplay, what did you give it?
Oh, I know what you're gonna give it. I'm not as big on this one. I like the pipe building. I'll
Mhm.
say that. I enjoy constructing my puzzle. That's what I like about the game
Right.
the most. I don't mind the buying and selling aspects. I like the fact that the in-game bonuses are different each game, but to me that almost drives the entire game. It's like whatever bonuses come up, that's what everybody's going to go for. And that's what showed in this game. Is pretty much those are the things you dominated in. We're all 4 of those categories because basically it gives you a second doubling of that scoring each round.
Right.
Well, no, but there's no money for tanks. But since tanks were up there, like these tanks were for $5, and I knew I was going to get 10 from them. So every time I had an opportunity to go buy those,
Yeah.
But everyone else had that same opportunity.
No, I know, but to me that one combined with that card over there, it's one of my least favorite combinations to come up because it basically gives somebody the bonus for having that card. It's definitely an incentive for whoever gets the tank card.
That is a pretty powerful combo.
Yeah.
Getting free tanks and then being able to cash in that. So.
I mean, but that's still only $20
No,
a
I
year.
understand.
That's
Yeah,
$60.
we're not saying that. It's a powerful combination because you're getting money at the end of the game.
You don't need to worry about
you're getting
trying
free
to get
pipes. So, and plus it's going to help you with the
You
oil
need
production.
tanks.
It's just a really win-win.
I mean, but you're talking, okay, so you get 2 per year.
Mhm.
Oh, and you only have 2 years to do that
Yeah.
on. So that's only $40. I mean,
I would have loved to have 40 extra bucks.
well, I mean, when you compare it to the rest of my score, it didn't take me an action to buy them.
Exactly, that's the key because you only have basically 20 actions, maybe 1, 2, 3, 4, 8, 6, 14, 18 total actions in the game. That's a lot, if you have to dedicate your action to getting all this stuff. Whereas you can just get it and have it given to you because you don't need that many tanks.
No.
Well, the thing is I took a big, huge hit at the beginning of the round beginning of the game.
Yeah.
there was several times that not all the upgrades were taken every single round.
I did it every round.
No, I did it as
and
well.
We had to get to the level 3.
Yeah, but like Dad and Randy only had 2 upgrades the whole entire time. Dad, I think, didn't have any.
I don't think
That's
that.
because the ones I wanted you'd already claimed. That's the main reason.
And I guess that's one of the things about the upgrades. You got to be really powerful. I mean, really careful with it. 2 people go after the same one. The second person is going to get hosed.
Yeah.
Because you got a bunch of level 1s. There's only one level 2 and one level 3.
Yeah.
So whoever gets that level 2 first, you got it. Because once the level 2 goes away, you can't get to the level 3 without the level 2.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and at that point, you can only get to level 2 because if another person has a level 1, you're pretty much out anyway. So,
yeah, I mean, it's definitely, I like in-game bonuses, and I like the fact that they're there. To me, that one with that pairing is a combination that it makes an advantage for whoever goes first in the first round, which, it's not a huge advantage, but it's enough.
How do you figure that?
You're going to get the first opportunity to buy the card. You take the card. Now you're guaranteed each round to have that.
Yeah, each year you're going to get those free tanks, which again,
I think you're
don't
making
have
too big of it.
I didn't say it's huge.
We're not
I'm just
saying it's huge, but it's a distinct advantage.
But every single one of them, like every single thing has a different thing. Like when the machinist row is up, this one would be heavy. Like depending on these and depending on those, some of those do combine, and that's just part of the game. And so that's where I'm a little confused as to how. I mean, the reality is, like, I ended up with over 900 points.
Mm-hmm.
You ended up with 500.
Shut up.
Well, no, but I'm just trying to figure out, like,
I got maybe $100. That's why she's still looking at me and they're snorkeling.
No, but my thing is you're talking about
the gameplay in this
points.
game was over halfway through, but we had to go trudging through the rest of the game knowing you were dominating. There was nothing we could do about it.
No, but my thing is you're complaining about 40 points
when
there was a 400 gap difference.
We're just saying, I'm not complaining that why I feel like it's not a 9 or a 10. I think there's enough reasons in this where it feels like it could be a runaway game for some player, as it was tonight.
Yeah, I will say that is, I think, the only negative critique I have for this game. But at the same time, I hate catch-up mechanisms. Like,
I don't like artificially thrown in ones, but I think the game should stay pretty close, or at least feel like you got a shot at it, and especially if it's an invested game like this. And it's not a bad game. This is a great game. I mean, I'm still going to give it an 8.5. That's my score for it. I think it's a great game. I just don't think it has enough to push it to a 9. It's close, and I love these kind of games. As far as they're all really in depth, really high, investment, high involvement games, and I like them when they're beautiful, and they put a lot of art into it. That's what the gallerist. It's beautiful. Right. It just felt very limiting. That was my complaint about that. This one doesn't feel quite as limiting as far as your actions go, but even though you still only have really a few choices to make,
you got 10 different things.
Yeah. So it's got more choices than the gallerist by far. It's not as pretty as the gallerist, but it got more in-depth gameplay to it, to my thought. And I love the building of my puzzle. I think that didn't really add a whole lot of points for me this game, but
why didn't? There was 2 that had to do with pipelines.
For having the shortest pipeline levels, which don't give you a lot of points, you can double your score on them.
Silver was just hard.
Silver was tough this game.
That was where I got all my level 1 pipelines.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's just not got enough in it for me to push it to a 9.
See, I think this game you almost have to play it with players that are equally.
Watch where you're going here.
Because there's no catch-up mechanism. If not everyone's on their A game, or not everyone's, I don't know. I can feel like if you don't, because there's no catch-up mechanism, it is.
But there is a mayonnaise mechanism.
That's right.
Right. So I can see where that can be an issue. I can see that we're an issue. I don't think it's an issue. I'm still giving this a 10 because I love this game.
I know you do.
And I agree with Randy in the respect that I think that when I think about this game as an economic game, there's other economic games I like more. So Power Grid is my favorite game.
I still haven't played that
in
one.
that regard. And so I think as far as economics go, it does things better in a way that I enjoy more. But I really enjoy this game so much so that I wanted to teach you guys and introduce. I like it a lot, and so I think it's a solid A. I mean, it's a great game. I really, really enjoy it. There's just other economic games I think just a little bit better.
I love this game.
Oh, I do too. And it's a good score.
No, it is a good score, and I can't even tell you why
I'm really
it so
looking
much.
forward to an expansion. I would like to see
really
what
excited.
it can do. I mean, hopefully, maybe it can fix a couple of those issues that we've been talking about. Whether it's maybe better combinations with cards and maybe some asynchronous abilities would be kind of
Yeah,
cool.
I mean, I would say that the one thing I don't like about the valuation cards is it feels like they're repeats of things you're already getting score for.
No, absolutely.
Well, no, the tank tiles you're not.
Well, I agree that one isn't, but
Yeah,
when
but a
you
lot
pair
of them,
with that-
it is you score on your pipeline, but then you score on your pipeline again.
Yeah, like
And
this
so-
one is a duplicate. That one's a duplicate. This one you're already getting points for throughout the game. So there's a lot of redundant scoring in
True.
the valuation cards. And, this is just a sampling of them. There's
I remember
several more in
one
the game.
time we had that, like, 2 were the pipeline for the machines, 1 was just for the pipelines.
Yeah.
And that game was a bit.
That's one I think I dominated in because that's where I excel in this game is building pipelines. Not so much this game, but in general I do. But I don't do well at the rest of it.
So, but yeah, I'm really looking forward to see what an expansion can do to this. I'm hoping that it'll just kind of open up more options.
Well,
and-
I'm hoping
and
they
make it
do
more,
something
a little bit deeper.
Yeah, I'm hoping they do something with the upgrades, because I do feel the fact that you can you can cut off complete section. I don't know. I do think that they might be able to do something better with that. I'm just not sure
Yeah,
what.
I mean, it reminds me of a skill tree, which I like. But the only
Mhm.
problem is only one person can get that
Right.
skill tree. I mean, and the fact that you can only do it once per year, you really are limited on how many of those you can get. And so
And anything that's part of the balancing mechanism,
Yeah.
where it can't be too broken because it's hard to get them.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah. So I do think the upgrade system they could probably do something about. And
But
I would like to see what it would add to.
I'm looking forward to it.
All right. Well, thank you guys so much for hanging out with us tonight. We really appreciate you spending time with us, and hopefully we'll be able to see you guys again. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. Hit like or share or do all those crazy things.
Rob will be out on the street selling his mayonnaise if you want any.
Please, I am destitute and I need to get rid of this stuff. So.
Thank you guys so much.
All right.
Bye.
Bye.